a few more people. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for making it in the call. We're really happy to have many people from South Africa to Nigeria, Cameroon, Denmark, London, Berlin. It's really great to see the international team gathering around the initiative that we're happy to kickstart today, which is the Africa Web3 Impact Mapping. So I'm Lucas from PositiveBlockchain. We have our dear colleague from the Africa Blockchain Institute. And, it's really since a couple of weeks that we came together and thought it would be really great to launch this initiative and also invite all of you to join. So that's what the call of today will be about, telling you about the initiative, how you can engage, what the goal behind, and also already maybe report from some people that are doing really great work in the space, both in pushing for general blockchain adoption in the continent and in the world, and also others that are maybe focusing on specific impact areas or sustainability areas on the ground. So yeah, very happy to have everyone. If you just arrived, please write down your name, your organization, and maybe the city where you're based in the chat so that we know who's there. Just a quick look at the agenda for today. So we'll do a bit of intro of different parties involved, the Africa Blockchain Institute, PositiveBlockchain, and Saurabh will also tell you a little bit more about the mapping, the 2 months we have ahead, again, how you can join, contribute, how it will look like, and what is the end goal. And then we have a few guest speakers, Etienne from Bitbutter, Gabriel from Paycode, Daisy from Refi Lagos, and Sean from IXO, who will also report from their side a little bit about the experience, about the blockchain ecosystem on the ground and the projects they're working on. But without further ado, I would directly give you the word, Coyote, because you're the man of the show for today. And also, yeah, tell us about yourself, your experience, the Africa Blockchain Institute.
Thank you very much. Good day, everyone, and good evening or good morning, wherever you are hearing us. And thank you very much for joining us on today's launch call for the Africa Web3 Impact Mapping that we are planning to do, which is very close and dear to us, even as an institute, because we are very focused to understand currently who are the actors, who are the players, who are the stakeholders, and how is blockchain actually making proper impact, especially on the African continent. So with that, I'd like to introduce myself as Kayode Babarinde, and I work with the Africa Blockchain Institute as the executive director. And what we do at the African Blockchain Institute is to basically build blockchain capacities on the continent. We have training programs for technology leaders, engineers that want to upskill on blockchain itself. And we also have additional academic and educational programs as well that feed into the training programs that we have. We have the African Blockchain Incubation Programs that cater for startups across the continent. Some also we have blockchain summer boot camp for teenagers that also want to upskill during the summer vacation period. We also have hackathon programs based on different climate and different regions that we find ourselves per time. That also signifies part of our priority at the Africa Blockchain Institute. The second priority, which is synced to what we are doing today, is research. I mean, we're a think tank, and how could there be a think tank without having a proper research towards blockchain activities, especially on the continent? And that makes us to work with several partners, and we'll put up several reports, which I'm sure you're going to see on the following slide, what we've done so far. Even beyond report itself, we've gone to concept note and also white papers around blockchain. And the third one is the deployment. I mean, we work with, of course, the biggest consumer of blockchain on the continent is the government, though multinational as well, and startups as well, also getting on board on blockchain. So those are the 3 things that really guide what we do in terms of priority at the Africa Blockchain Institute. And now, again, talking much more focused on the research that we've carried out so far. Over the past 3 years, working with the Agorand Foundation to pull out the Africa Blockchain Report. We focused on 4 countries per time. And what we've been able to do so far has been so very phenomenal, especially part of the recommendation that we got at the end of the research program that we did. Apparently, we want to make sure that the policy, the parliament, and the government quite understand deeply right now what blockchain is not more a joke, it's a reality, and there are many businesses and corporate already using this technology already on the continent. So it's high time that they are coming with fair regulations and policy towards this kind of technology on the continent. And how will they do that if they don't even understand that there are already players working locally in their country? So for the first edition, we cover, I mean, the major 4 countries, which is Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and Ghana. And Ghana, as some also we cover more 4 other countries also in the second edition, same also in the third edition as well. So touching about the major stakeholders and happenings of blockchain per year, with our Grant Foundation. And we don't only start there. We also have private businesses that we work with, starting with Freeton, which you can see on the last part. We are mentioning the low-income community on the continent, even outside the continent, because, I mean, LDC is not only in Africa, it's also, you can find them also even in Latin America as well. So we work with them to understand, especially we focus this research for Africa itself, to understand, I mean, what has blockchain done in the ecosystem and how can we even bring those things into mainstream. So these are brief of the research materials we've done. We've done more, and we hope with this collaboration with PositiveBlockchain, can able to bring forward proper, objective publications towards blockchain impact on the continent. And I'm glad we are going to be listening to several speakers that actually done something in that area to really inspire us and tell us that this thing is actually happening, and how we will come together as a community to make sure we document this thing and we begin to update it moving forward. And we're also happy that at the end of the day, we try to include more other languages, because in Africa, it's not only English that we speak, we have Portuguese, we have also people that speak French as well. We need to try as much as possible to include all of these, our African friends, also in this publication. I will stop here and hand over to Lucas as well as we continue this webinar.
Great. Thank you so much, Kayode. Maybe I just have 2 quick questions for you. First of all, where can we find you and also your colleagues on the ground? Because as you mentioned, you're active in many different places. And the second one, as it entails with impact. Well, maybe you can already give us a sneak peek as the use case and the areas where you also see growing interest out of Rwanda, but maybe some other places. I'm sure we'll cover this more in details in the webinar, but maybe you can give us a sneak peek and, just from your
own... course. I mean, you could just reach out to us and get to know more about us via the website, the africablockchain.institute, and of course, LinkedIn as well. You get to see all work we've done. And if you want me to narrow down to several of the blockchain impact that's happening, especially here in Rwanda, it's been numerous. I mean, starting with the blockchain for mining. Apparently, we all know DRC Congo is close to us, Goma, and we want to bring forth, they want to understand how the mineral resource is being moved from Goma down to Kigali and down to Brussels or anywhere in the European Union, which has been a very phenomenal use of blockchain technology in this country. And second thing is for the land title. I mean, based on different African countries that find ourselves, land, real estate is a big problem, especially those that are not well documented or those that wish not to document their land for fraud or for corruption. The government of Rwanda has really taken up and document almost all the lands here in Rwanda on a blockchain. So that's a very big impact for us, especially those that want to buy land or do something around real estate in Rwanda. They can just, from top of their phone, go to Rembo and try and see how they can buy land, or even try to get the authentication, the verification of the land that's being bought here in Kigali or even any part of Rwanda as well. So I think I'll stop here, but there are really many more. We're looking towards the central bank digital currency, which is now moved towards POC, and also they're looking towards blockchain in education because of the conversion of academic documents. Many folks that come to study in Rwanda have to convert their result to align with the current academic segment here in Rwanda. And it's been difficult all the while because it's all paperwork. Now they are trying to digitalize it so that all those paperwork are going to be reduced. So here are some of the few things happening in Rwanda, but of course, we hope to share you much more about the impact of blockchain in Rwanda, also in Africa as well.
Thank you so much. Already very inspiring, and I'm sure we'll discover much more. And that's exactly why the MAPIC initiative is about. A little bit about PositiveBlockchain. We are a non-profit association started out of Europe. We have many contributors in Europe, but also in other places, Goodness in Lagos, and other people also in the US or in Asia. that basically came together to explore the potential of blockchain and DLT for social and environmental impact. We started quite early, late 2017, where there were only a number of starting smart contract initiatives to solve things like global trade and supply chain. But slowly we mapped out the entire ecosystem and maintained the open database, which you can see on the website and also download and explore for yourself. A database containing projects and startups that are active around the world on different use cases, such as climate and environment, logistics and supply chain transparency, financial inclusion, education, worker rights, and so on. Obviously, it entails a lot the work of government and public institutions, but also NGOs, Web2 companies, emerging startups in the tech space. And that's really our role to try to map this ecosystem, give the knowledge to people so that they are empowered to deploy these solutions on the ground and make their impact. Some of this work has been also instrumental to start some more qualitative content like reports. We worked with Smart Africa and the GIZ on blockchain in Africa report a few years ago. 2 years ago, we launched also with Blockchain for Good, the Blockchain for SDGs report, which is a document of 400 pages, actually exploring different use cases along the UN SDGs. We also created some sub-mapping, especially for the tokenization of carbon and environmental credits using blockchain. So to help people understand what are the use cases and the trends in this global market. And yeah, we're really happy to be back here. 2 years ago, we also had shaping blockchain communities in Africa, bringing people from the Cameroon Blockchain Association to Rwanda to South Africa, and it's really happy to see this initiative taking shape today. We've been also working on different regions in the past. In November last year, we actually worked with the INATBA, the European Association for Blockchain, and LatChain to actually map use case of blockchain adoption in Latin America. So we're also hoping that the mapping will actually help to prepare this type of report and also be translated in different languages that can really help people understand the trends and also take their part. This report, for example, was published in November, already has 100,000 plus views. So we also know that it has its impact on the ecosystem by providing the information to the people. One mention also is that we are part of the BC 100 Plus initiative, which is also another open initiative that you're very invited to join. You can hit the bc100plus.org website. It's an initiative to align members of the Web2, Web3 private and public communities in the adoption of blockchain in support of the UN Charter value. So you will find more on the website. It has been approved under the high patronage of Mr. Kurose, who was president of the 77th UN General Assembly. And there are also many companies that are really working in the support of blockchain for the UN SDG and for impact in general. So you'll find more on the website, but I think right now what's important is to talk about the mapping. What exactly do we intend to do? And I think there's a lot that we can still shape together. And then we'll move on to the speakers. And for this part, mainly Saurabh, you can tell us a little bit about the mapping and also by yourself.
Absolutely. And I would really appreciate if you can just take care of the slides so that we don't have to do back and forth. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, hello everyone. I'm super happy to be here and share this initiative with you all. My name is Saurabh Singh. I am the head of partnerships at PositiveBlockchain, and trust me, nothing makes me more happy than starting this year in this first initiative with Africa Blockchain Institute. And I was simply amazed with the speed that we have started our discussion and how things happen. And it also speaks about the mindset that we have. It's very clear. There's no bureaucracy. There's no beating around the bush, just getting hardcore action done. So on that note, I would just like to share with you that what is this all about? I think when it comes to, as Coyote was also mentioning, that when it comes to all these solutions that are already existing in Africa, how they're very fragmented. They're amazing work being done in Africa, but then it's very fragmented, and that's why we saw the need of coming together and putting our finding those synergies for exploration and collaboration, and creating this database, this knowledge base that we want to create. And this is what we decided, because the question that comes to our mind, that if how can you think about blockchain and Africa? Well, the simple answer is you just cannot. So that's why we thought there is more emphasis needs to be laid on Africa as a continent and all the innovation that is happening in the space. So I won't be taking too much time in delving into the detail that what these champions are doing already on ground. You can go and visit their website, like Ben, Grassroot Economics. They're already there in our database. Ethersec are doing amazing work. Kimbo Care and WhatApp. So as you can see, this groundwork that has been done, it's simply amazing, but we need to give them a voice, a platform to share that. And that's why we decided to come together. If you can go to the next slide. So just to give you a little bit of detail that what is it all about. It is a 2-month open initiative. And when I say open initiative, it means anyone can be a part of this initiative. If you're working anywhere, if you are associated, if you're linked with any innovative project, or even if you are an individual, you know about a super innovative project and you want to include it in our database, you can also do it. So what needs to happen is, like, you can simply go to our website, and on our Africa landing page, you can simply go and I'll share in the next few slides how you can do that. But that we'll be listing under this initiative, we'll be listing all these impactful projects, all these amazing startups that are doing amazing groundwork, both at the intersection of Web3 blockchain, as well as social and environmental good. And this is, of course, it has to be from the expertise that we have already seen, that what Coyote and Africa Blockchain Institute's team is doing on ground. They've already formed partnerships and alliances with amazing stakeholders. They know what's happening on ground, and that's the reason why we wanted them to take a lead, because we already have an existing database, but then we wanted them to lead them from the front, because they know the on-ground reality, because we are sitting here in Europe, and then we wanted this initiative to be more for Africa and from Africa. So yeah, what we'll be simply doing is we'll be identifying these innovative impact champions, and how they are having this real world impact on the African economy, or the global economy as such. And yeah, our aim is more collaboration, more knowledge sharing and creation, and learning through all this cross collaboration. As we have already shared that what we have been doing with other stakeholders in the space who are leaders in blockchain and impact segment, as Lucas was also sharing, we have collaborated with Enapta, we have collaborated with Blockchain for Good, and so many of them. And then I think we realized, as Coyote also mentioned, that one of the biggest consumer of this knowledge that is being created as government, which also translates into later down the line into policy or decision making, right? So, and that's what we thought, that we also need to have something handy in our hands. I mean, of course, you can go on our website and just go through and download the data for free. But then we also need something more substantial, more comprehensive. So that's why we are also, this is an open call to all of you and all the stakeholders across the world. We are, after this mapping activity, we aim to come up with a report. This is just aspirational, and we would like to have a qualitative report with real-world use cases from all these local champions that we were talking about. And we are indeed looking for partners, collaborators, and sponsors to support us in this initiative, in this mammoth task that we are about to embark on. And yeah, we were also mentioning that, Africa is very diverse. In terms of the language spoken, in terms of the diversity from every aspect. And in order to ensure this plurality of ideas and language, we are aiming to publish these reports in English, French, and any other languages. So feel free to join us for this collaborative exercise, and lend us your support. And if you want to support us in translating these reports that we will be doing later down the line. Yeah, if you can go to the
I
next
guess,
slide.
yeah, the question is how to, okay, yeah, first we have the timing and then how to join.
Exactly, yeah. So this is a very, very simple timeline that we've planned. As I was sharing that, things went so quickly. We started talking in December, November, December, and then yeah, we just came out with this mapping activity. So what we're doing is we are opening from this kickoff event. Timeline opens, and then till April 10th, we will be conducting these mapping activities. Simply anyone who's interested in contributing towards this mapping activity, please feel free to join us. And once this mapping activity is done, as I mentioned, that we are aiming to collaborate for once all this mapping activity is done, we want to come up with a substantial report which can be handed out to the governments or other stakeholders, for that matter, so that they can get to see that which are the local and innovative local champions who are already working innovative work on ground. So yeah, this is what this project will entail, and how can this mapping activity be done? So as you can see on your left hand side of the screen, that through this mapping exercise, what we'll be doing is you can contribute as a contributor, but then there is a team sitting from both ABI's side and from a PositiveBlockchain side. We will be vetting these projects. Of course, we want to ensure the quality, and that's why if anyone who's entering any sort of blockchain project, we want to make sure that they are legitimate. There is a certain legitimacy to these projects, and we will be vetting. There'll be proper vetting process, and yeah, you will have access to the Google Drive. We'll give you the sheet access, and the good thing is we have already started 75 projects which are already listed. So it's amazing that even before starting the initiative, people are so excited about it that they are already participating in it. And if you want to include individual project, if you are suppose you are representing, you want your company to be represented, your organization, your NGO to be represented, you can simply download through our website. You can simply go over there, fill up the form, and then yeah, you can simply submit either by simple submission, or you can become a contributor. And talking about the contributors who've already signed up, it just, as I said, that it makes me proud and happy at the same time that we have so many stakeholders already listed and they've already shared the logos with us. For example, Blockchain for Africa, Enapta, Refi DAO Cape Town, which is Refi Cape Town, which is a part of Refi DAO, is already there. DeSci Africa, and yeah, just to name a few. I won't be going down the whole list, and I want to be respectful of our speakers' time and your time as well. So yeah, and we would like to thank everyone who's contributing towards this. And yeah, as we were just mentioning, that what are the next steps? Like, what will happen? So once you go on our landing page, you can simply, as a user, you can register, and then these forms. In the form, and you'll be invited to share the folder to work on the mapping exercise, right? So simply, if you go on the landing page, you click on the contributor list, and then you'll get the whole form. You can just fill it up, and yeah, we will be reaching out to you. The Discord group will be from Africa Blockchain Institute side. You can join their Discord channel. We'll be sharing the link as soon as it's formed. We'll be sharing all these updates as soon as they are done. And the next step would be the training exercise that will happen exactly in 1 week. That we will be sharing, because we have been doing at PositiveBlockchain, we have been doing this exercise regularly. That's the reason why we have this massive database, and we want to pass on this knowledge to Africa Blockchain Institute and other stakeholders who are interested in adding on to this existing body of knowledge. So yeah, the training will happen, although it's very simple, it's very self-explanatory, but then for that reason, we want to conduct a training session, which will be happening on 19th. And any partnering organization will be listed on the website. If you want to share your logos, you want to highlight the amazing work that your organization, your NGO, or individually you're doing as a startup, we'll be super happy to share it on our website. And yeah, we will definitely add the relevant ecosystem resources. Like if you have any amazing articles that you come across, or we'll be. I mean, we want to make this a landing page as a go-to landing page. If you want to find out anything happening in Africa, in blockchain, and impact space, this should be your go-to page. And that's why we wanted to create like various, include various resources like articles, papers, and any other website that you know of. So feel free to reach out to us. We'll be sharing at the end of the this slide deck. We'll be sharing our email address. If you have any ideas, if you have any knowledge that you think will be valuable in adding on to this database, we'll be super grateful to you. Yeah, so I hope I didn't take too long, and the activity was self-explanatory. I would like to hand over to our guest speakers. So yeah, over to you, Lucas. If I've missed out anything, please feel free to add.
That was great. Thank you so much. And I think, Kayode, you can surely introduce our first speakers.
Yes, of course. So permit me to introduce Mr. Etienne Okeke. Mr. Etienne Okeke is the CEO of Big Bata in Nigeria, Africa, and is going to be speaking on the general ecosystem knowledge around blockchain in Africa in terms of the regulation, the data, and also even the trends around blockchain activities in Africa. So, Mr. Etienne, you can please share your slides and go ahead with the presentation.
Hello, Kaide, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, good. Good day, guys. I'm super excited to be here. You know, whenever you talk about Africa, whenever you talk about blockchain, it's one of those things that I'm very super excited to talk about, and I can't really talk about it enough for several reasons. Because I don't think Africa is saying enough around what he's doing in crypto and what is possible in crypto. You could look at it from two perspectives. Maybe you can say Africa is a young continent, right? Young in the sense that there are a lot of young people on the continent, or young in the sense that it's an emerging market. But from whatever a viewpoint you come from, you will see that Africa is one of the coolest places to be right now, like in terms of crypto, right? So speaking generally, looking an overview around Africa, what does it entail, or what do we perceive when we look at Africa? And also going through the report from ABI, it gives a lot of these insights, right? So I would advise that people should take out some time to read some of those reports because they're super important. So ABI is a company I've been working with since 2018, 2019, yeah, December, thereabout. So we have done very interesting things from Nigeria to Ghana to Tanzania, name them, different countries. So it's been super exciting working with ABI. So we see this very young generation, people who are, let's say, between the ages of, let's say, 25 and above, or 25 to mid-40s, who are like very interested in crypto. We see a lot of ideas springing up on crypto, but we don't see many of them in the advanced stages yet. Advanced stages, I mean like people who have been able to fully develop these ideas into companies that have become institutions, right? Companies that have have growth, right? High growth and scale. So we see people who are still building a whole lot of startups, especially from the crypto side. That's like telling us that there's a whole lot of use cases, right? And people have a lot of ideas of what's going on, or what they can use crypto for in the continent, and people are trying out a lot of these things. So we see that growing year on year from ABI, and that has been super interesting. We see that, but at the core of all these things, we also need environments that could enable these ideas to be fully formed or to be implemented, so we could see how many of these experiments could actually become businesses that are profitable and lucrative, both for shareholders, investors, and we could also see set of users that are super excited that these products and ideas are solving problems for them, right? For example, I work with a certain bank in Nigeria a couple of years ago. We built an invoice discounting system on the blockchain. We worked with Quorum, Consensus, and all that. So we're able to build a system where because of the kind of economy we run in Nigeria, you get, let me pick an example in agriculture, right? Sometimes agricultural products, you get to have such shortage of them in the market, so the prices kind of go high. Let me say grains. There might be maize, corns, millet, so we discovered a way that people could buy these agricultural grains, store them in some warehouses, then we tokenize those grains, and people could use that NFT to maybe open collateral depositions. This is working on the blockchain, so it involves multi-companies or different companies. Yeah, it's a kind of private blockchain. It's not on Ethereum, right? We see how that could solve a specific problem in the Nigerian agricultural space, right? This was able to open up some tons of capital. We see over 100,000 people using it and operating in that space with the help of this kind of product. So we see a lot of products like this, which might still be in their infant stage or in the concept stage, and people are thinking about, okay, what are all the different ways we could use this thing to maybe unlock capital in the continent, or maybe attract more capital in the continent, better liquidity management, for more capital intensive or infrastructural projects that we could build. And many a times we even I don't think a lot has been done, or we have even started anything, right? So some of these things could even get to the point where they could help us fundraise for building airports, building rail lines, building different types of mines, which is like which is like a key part of Africa and things that we are looking forward to. I hope I'm not taking too much time. Right, Lucas?
No, it's fine. You can go ahead.
Okay, that's
It's
fine.
fun and very interesting to hear from you.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. So we see all these things. How do we put all these things together? But at the core of all these exciting things that I've been saying, we still need some basic primary things, which is like education, right? That's also where African Blockchain Institute comes in, right? We also hope that we see a lot of us ranging from this activity that we are launching now and different forms of activities. Can we pull all this together? Can we build that knowledge system or that knowledge base that people could get mentorship, people could get idea of what is happening? And also the thing about misconception, right? Across Africa, you have this feeling of like, we only buy Bitcoin and wait for it to pump, then we sell and make money. Can we start building use cases where we understand that, okay, we could actually use Bitcoin to make payments? Africa is very multi-fragmented, especially when you talk about the currency landscape, right? And this is something that crypto can really solve for us in Africa, right? For example, in Nigeria right now, if you look at the Nigerian economy, there's a whole lot of scarcity around the dollar. I can't just take my Naira and purchase goods in Kenya. I can't just take my Naira and purchase goods in Rwanda. I have to go through the dollar route, and the dollar becomes scarce, right? Could we build USDT systems who could enable such payments to happen? Anyway, that's part of what we are doing at BitBatterBet. It's a journey, right? It's a journey. We don't
Good
just...
introduction.
So could we build some of those systems? These are practical use cases that could open up finance. These are practical use cases that could open up finance in Africa, right? People could become truly borderless and available. If I'm someone that lives in let's say, Mozambique, right? Or I'm someone that lives in South Africa, if I don't get enough rand into dollar while I'm traveling to Egypt, I won't be able to spend in Egypt, right? Because my money is locked in my bank in South Africa in rand. But what if I could convert that money to USDT and travel to several other countries? And from USDT, I settle local transactions in those countries around Africa. We could leverage some of this technology and begin to financially look like Europe, right? I know about some other systems that are being built to facilitate payments and all that. So I can keep giving instances like this, from agriculture to mineral resources, from petroleum to different types of mining, right? And one other key thing also I want also to mention, apart from education and mentorship, is funding, right? Funding is very critical to what we are doing. Yes, many of the companies are going to fail. Many of the projects are going to fail. Yeah, nobody likes the sound of that. I don't want to be the angel of bad news, right? Or preaching this kind of thing. But the truth of the matter is that these are risks that people should be bold to take, ranging from investors. I see a lot of investors shying away from Africa, ranging from the fact that it's super risky. Yes, I agree with you. But I think there are a lot of interesting things also that we could do, right? So maybe people should approach Africa from the mindset of how do we de-risk it, or how do we make it more profitable and take away a lot of risk from this system, right? Yes, regulation is very, very important. For example, you could see places like Nigeria that have taken bold steps to setting up regulation. I'll tell you one, I'll give you an information for free, right? There's no clarity anywhere, not in Nigeria, not in Central African Republic, not in Rwanda or anywhere in Africa about crypto regulation. I don't even think MiCA and some other regulatory bodies in Europe or in America have that clarity that we are looking for, right? But what do we see as visionaries, as employees, right? As entrepreneurs? What do we see? Can we poke the bear and see whether the bear will react, right? And see how it reacts. You need to be careful in as much as you're poking the bear. So, but let's try this thing out, right? It is only in running some of these experiments, whether large or small, that we could get our economy moving. We could get that development that we're looking for, and we could make these fragmented emergent markets to be united and see how we could build better sustainable economies and more prosperity for everyone, both for people in Africa and beyond Africa. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very
so
much. It's been a very interesting conversation, especially with deep dive into activities into Nigeria. But of course, we can make use of the lessons from that conversation spread across all other Africa countries as well. So you mentioned about education and talk about regulation and also the fear of failure. I know that's a very strong point, but again, I guess we can build on that moving forward. So I will use this privilege to invite the second speaker this time around, speaking on the impact on blockchain and social impact in Africa. And the person speaking on this subject is Mr. Gabriel. Mr. Gabriel Ruan is the CEO of Paycode in South Africa. Of course, Mr. Gabriel is currently right now in London, and we'd like to welcome you to please present to us on blockchain and social impact in Africa. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So my name's Gabriel Ruhan, and I'm the CEO of Paycode. We've been using blockchain technology to do financial inclusion payments since 2015. And I'm going to show you an example of how we do that and the challenges that we need to overcome in order to do that. So we're a B2B technology provider. We work for banks and central banks around the continent. We're currently in, I think, 9 African countries, and now reaching out to other places like Afghanistan and Brazil. So the problems that we are designed to address are threefold. 3 main obstacles of financial inclusion. 1 billion people don't have any identity. 1.7 billion people in the world don't have a bank account. And the biggest problem, 3.7 billion people are not connected to a network. So I'm going to talk to you about how we address each of those quickly. We use these tablets in the community to issue a biometric smart card. So we capture an individual's identity in the field, and then we do a deduplication process. We're dealing with people that don't have any foundational identity. So we work with the central banks and the banks to achieve the minimum requirement for identity, which is that this person is unique in the database and that this person is alive. So some central banks will seek to minimize the amount of money that can go through that account, but generally they're quite accepting of this methodology of uniquely identifying somebody for financial inclusion purposes. Once somebody has been identified as being unique, we write all of that biometric information to the chip on the smart card, and it's used throughout their interaction with the network. And that card, when it comes out of the tablet, is live and ready to transact. This isn't an exhaustive list, but these are typically the things that we would capture on that platform. But you'll notice there's always biometric fingerprints in our KYC, and also this electronic wallet, which is where the blockchain comes in, and I'll talk to you about how we use that in another slide. So dealing with cost, once somebody has been identified, we give them what we describe as a low-cost digital bank account on our back-end infrastructure. So we're interacting with the bank, and using our software, we're able to give millions of sub-accounts to those card holders. And those accounts can do the day-to-day functionality, paying, receiving, buying goods, receiving remittance, a whole bunch of things that they can do. And we're providing the net settlement figures to the bank. And because we're only dealing with 6, what you might call traditional bank accounts, we're able to offer that service to those millions of cardholders at significantly less than it would cost them to have their own account. So dealing with this issue of connectivity, half the world's population doesn't have access to the internet, and poor infrastructure outside urban areas does prevent adoption of card schemes and also mobile wallets. And as you know, it's a significant challenge to blockchain-based payment solutions. That inability to transact due to network coverage does hamper trust in technology, and people will very quickly revert back to cash. So in designing this solution, we needed to come up with a way to allow these transactions to take place 24/7. And the way that we did that was we reversed what you would typically find with a payment card, and we put the funds actually in a wallet on the card itself. So those are, in effect, individual ledgers that contain a cryptographic timestamp and transactional data. So it's a collection of individual ledgers that are sitting on biometric smart cards, and the point of sale device that we interact with is just used as a medium, a trusted electronic environment to communicate between the cardholder's funds on their wallet and the retailer's funds on the retail card. So it's a very early example of how blockchain technology can be used to do, in our case, offline payments. So this is a typical point of sale device that we use. Contained within this point of sale device, there are 2 SIM cards. One is used to connect to the network, as you would expect with any point of sale device. The other one is used for its cryptographic properties, because it actually stores transactions and values. So you'll see that it has a biometric window, so we don't use chip and pin anywhere in our network, partly for security and proof of life. A lot of the work we do is around social grant distribution, but also for literacy reasons. It's easier to have somebody identify themselves with a fingerprint rather than remembering a PIN. Now, if this was a normal POS, when you put your card in, it would dial the back-end infrastructure. But if there's no connectivity at that point in time, that transaction will fail. So because we've got that ledger sitting on the card, which contains your value, there's another ledger sitting within the point of sale device, and the transaction actually takes place between those two chips on the card. So we prevent the double spend problem by taking money from your wallet and temporarily storing it in the wallet on the point of sale device. So if you come in with $100 on your card or in your bank account, you do a transaction for $10. When you leave, even though that point of sale device hasn't yet settled its transactions, it will only have $90, and you can go to some other bank or some other shop and transact with your card without any connectivity whatsoever. This point of sale device is only required to connect sporadically. They typically connect once every 24 hours to share those transactions. In the meantime, we're doing some other things. We're dropping the unsettled transactions that are sitting on this point of sale device. We're dropping them onto the chip on your card, and you carry them with you. So you obviously can't see them and you can't interact with them. But if you interact with another point of sale device, you will drop them off there and pick up other transactions. So in that way, retailer A's transactions might be settled by retailer B or retailer C. There's one other use of the technology that I wanted to call out here, which is we're actually able to credit those cards even when they're offline. And the way that we do that is we create a cryptographic block which contains the value that you're going to receive. And we take the first 10 digits of that cryptographic block and we communicate that to you, either in a text or in a WhatsApp or printed on a voucher. Or one case in Malawi, where we're paying teachers in remote locations, we actually publish those 10-digit codes in the newspaper. So rather than having to travel really long distances in order to be paid to go to a bank, they actually go to the local newspaper and pick up that cryptographic block, the first 10 digits. They go to this point of sale device, they select offline load, they punch in that 10-digit code, the software unpacks that cryptographic block and identifies it. And the final piece of the jigsaw is that you can prove your identity, which of course is stored on the chip of the card. So supremely secure in that everybody knows those 10-digit codes represent salary information, but nobody can access them other than for the person for whom it was intended. So those three issues help us solve a huge amount of financial inclusion obstacles using a combination of RegTech and FinTech. So I just want to quickly talk about how we do that and how we're adapting it for other use cases around digital currency. So currently this is a typical, what you might call a two-tier environment within the bank. The central bank has financial institutions and banks, and those banks can have 6 accounts, that general ledger accounts that our software interacts with. And all of these features or all of these products are available to the person at the point of sale device. They can receive wages, they can receive payments, they can receive micro loans. We create the ability for others to interact on our platform, receive remittances rather than traveling long distance to go to a Western Union, actually receive the remittance onto the card using that 10-digit cryptographic block methodology, using the card to make purchases, sending value to other cardholders in the country, maybe family members. All of that functionality is brought down to that POS level, and all of those transactions can be done offline. But in future, those financial institutions will hold blockchain wallets. And we're already doing a number of proof of concepts with those that are advanced in their CBDC. CBDC represents a very useful off-ramp for us. So we can take stable coins, transmit them across border to these wallets, and then settle into central bank digital currencies for immediate payment. So in future, I mean, we're not seeing, somebody mentioned already, we'd like to be able to see Bitcoin being spent. We can do that technically. We can cope with any ERC20 token, and we can take that right down to the retailer level, the challenge at the moment is the off-ramp. How do you off-ramp that into something that the retailer has value for? I've no doubt that will change over time, but at the moment, the most advanced projects, if anyone's interested in exploring more, is to be able to off-ramp that into a central bank digital currency. So I'm going to stop there. I've given you a lot of information. I'll be always happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. It was really, really interesting. I couldn't dare to tell you that the time is up because I wanted to learn more. And also, I'm pretty amazed that I think Paycode is not yet listed in the PositiveBlockchain database. So we are already one step further in the mapping initiative already, and it's really inspiring, this type of work. So yeah, if you guys have any question, please, also you have the names. I think there are many platforms to connect. That's also what the initiative is about, or go to the chat. Maybe Gabriel, if you want to drop your favorite way to be contacted in the chat, yeah, that'd be welcome. And so now we'll switch to our next speaker, looking a little bit at the time. So probably we'll extend a little bit beyond the clock. We have Adaeze Okafor. She's based in Lagos, Nigeria, co-founder of ReFi Lagos, very much involved into digital initiatives, blockchain and ReFi, for those who are already familiar with the term. But if you're not, Adaeze will tell you a bit more about this and what's happening in the ground. I'm sharing the screen, and Adaeze, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Adaeze Okafor, and I'm so proud to be among you guys today. So I am one of the founders of ReFi Lagos, a local node from ReFi DAO. So I'll be sharing some basic concepts of ReFi, and I'll be sharing also ReFi local nodes here in Africa and what we are doing in ReFi Lagos. So what is ReFi? I mean, most of us might be conversant with the word ReFi, which also is known as generative finance. Okay, so the next slide, please. Okay, so ReFi is a financial system that prioritizes sustainability. It emphasizes on investing in projects that do not just generate profits, but also have a positive impact on the environment and the society. So the next slide. Sorry, I did not say much. Okay.
Yeah.
So the generative economy just focus on restoring and replenishing the ecosystem, like I've said. Not talk more of exploiting from there. It kind of regenerates and replenish. So when we compare it to extractive economic system, which is built on the linear economy and kind of have a short-term profit, you can't just compare with a generative economy. So the next slide, sorry. So why ReFi? The ReFi movement is an emerging, one of the potential reasons to address the problems we're having right now, just like the climate change is posing a whole lot of threat to humanity. So there has been so many amazing ReFi projects happening around the globe, such as renewable energy projects, circular economy projects, and all whatnot. So so can you talk to next slide? Okay, so ReFi local node. So the ReFi DAO is a big community that regenerates the earth. Their purpose is to regenerate the earth, and they have about 30 plus amazing local nodes across the world, and about 7 local nodes here in Africa. We have the ReFi Kenya, the ReFi Tanzania. We have the ReFi Republic of Congo, that's DRC. So we have so many amazing projects happening all over these local nodes, and they're also hosting their different climate events. The next slide. So, okay, Unified Lagos, we aim to revolutionize climate education and empower the next generation of stewards through tree planting efforts. And we are doing that with Sylvie protocol, Sylvie.x, in tracing these amazing trees. We aim to plant about 450 trees in the next coming climate event. So Sylvie app will be helping us to track the growth of these trees and till their maturity. Okay, next slide. Okay, these are most of the projects that we have done in the past. We planted about 15 plus trees and dedicated them to the refi economy. So the next coming event is going to be holding by the end of this month, and we aim to plant, like I said, 150 trees across community schools there in Lagos State. So you can as well join our Telegram link. That should be in the next slide if you actually like what you're doing and you want to support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, it's very interesting also to see the active refi community around the world through Refi DAO. A lot of resources on their website as well. And so really happy to have you also take part of the initiative to also better report from the ground, from very grassroots community-led initiatives, what is happening, what are the trends, where we see also blockchain adoption. For those active in Telegram, I think every refi node around there have the Telegram channels and probably so many other tools and channels to reach them out. Okay, and we now have Sean, our next speaker from South Africa, also connected to refi, but working on amazing projects around Impact DAO and impact verification. So Sean, please, yeah, tell us a little bit more. And I think you also got to share your slides.
Yes, can you see my slides?
Yes, great.
Awesome. So yeah, we've run out of time, so I'll try to keep this as brief as possible, focusing on 3 core projects in the clean cooking sector, as well as education and entrepreneurship, and then also a refi local node that I started in Cape Town. So I'm from EXO. I'm the ecosystem development lead, and we are leading the development of the Impact DAO cooperative, which is a DAO that is built on the EXO blockchain. So the Impact DAO cooperative makes outcomes-based investments into innovations, projects, and research that result in solutions being built on the Internet of Impacts, which is a term we use to refer to a multi-network ecosystem of Web3, AI, and related technologies, and services for ecological regeneration and social equality. The DAO provides funding from a treasury. Members who are part of the DAO have shares represented as a membership token, which is Impact. The legal structure is a Liechtenstein venture cooperative. And members vary from investors to builders, impact producers, people who contribute capital, but also people who contribute open source IP and labor. So the ecosystem consists of applications, different web interfaces, market platforms, modular services, digital measurement, reporting, and verification protocols. And there's various value that members can receive by participating in the DAO, such as the co-development of software, joint market ventures, improving cross-chain liquidity, and raising finance together. So one of the largest projects that the Impact DAO has invested in and has developed last year pretty much is a clean cooking application, where the problem is people using fossil fuels to cook their food, and resulting in a lot of air pollution in households, a lot of sickness, as a result of the air pollution. And the solution is clean cooking stoves that are powered with renewable biomass pellets. A solution developed by Emerging Cooking Solutions, EXO, and funding from the United Nations Capital Development Fund and the Clean Cooking Alliance. At the moment, there are about 1,517 clean cook stoves that have been created as digital twins that have produced around 3 million kilograms of carbon credits, with about 20,188 carbon credits being retired. You can take a look at this slide for more. And then the second implementation is a bit younger and a bit earlier in its stage, and that is Refi Cape Town. Established last year, the Refi Cape Town has created a DAO using EXO software to manage a small treasury, to host tokenized impact hackathons in the community, as well as planning on developing impact measurement methodologies around 4 different NGOs in the city. And then the third project that I'd like to speak about, which I'm most excited about, is the youth, or building a youth marketplace for Africa in collaboration with UNICEF and YOMA, where the problem is basically young people not having enough support and resources for relevant and contemporary education and employment pathways to tackle some of the big development challenges of our times. So we are working with some partners to create tech talents, which are NFTs that are used to provide funding for students to do courses in the digital economy, and then ultimately link them to employment. And then another exciting initiative to use outcomes-based funding to fund youth entrepreneurs in the green economy. So experience EXO for yourself, download the mobile app, reach out to me if you're interested in collaborating and getting involved. And yeah, I'd love to speak about this more. I could speak about this for ages. So yeah, thanks again, Lucas and the team, for having me.
Thank you so much, Sean. I think it's closing a very broad and actually diverse rounds of speakers and use case and local initiatives, which hopefully will inspire everybody as well to continue the effort and join the initiatives, do this mapping, identifying new, advanced, mature champions on the ground. And yes, so I think with that, we'll be ready to close the calls. I think you have understood that for everybody who wants to participate, there is a form, and many of you have already filled to contribute. If you're, again, not really contributing as part of an organization on the overall mapping, but just willing to make sure your own project is represented, just head to the website. There are all the forms and the indications on how to do it. We also hope we'll be able to organize more webinars like this within the contributor group, but maybe also the open. And if you also have initiatives of local events, online events, other activities that you want to propose to also leverage this catalyst moment and this mapping initiative, please just come to us. I can reach out to Coyote or also use the email that you have on the slide from PositiveBlockchain. For those who sign up on the contributor form, again, you'll receive the invitation to the training, receive all the instructions, the access to the Google Sheet, and we'll be starting the work for the next 8 weeks, actually this week, so if not next week. And we thank you very much for your attention and participation. Coyote or Saurabh, if you have any closing words as well on your side, please feel free.
No, I have nothing from my side. I guess it's been a long day, and we were able to achieve the reason why we are here, which is to make sure people are aware of the research program currently going on. and much more to get many people on board on this mapping, because it's very much important to us as African, also we are living in Africa, to really understand and identify the actual blockchain organizations, companies, startup really making impact across the continent.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Let's connect
Thank
soon.
you.
Everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.